All right, all right. I think that for a lot of you, the problem is not being able to kind of like get things going and starting a life with somebody, because with the Four of Wands being the overall, that's kind of how I see that, moving in together, you know, building a life, celebrating you coming together with this person. But a lot of things are kind of like putting this on hold, sort of, kind of. But a lot of that is going to be about disagreements or arguments and seeing eye to eye on, you know, what to do here. So you are coming in with the Queen of Wands. They are showing the Star. This, you know, I kind of look at as them having hope that things are going to move in the direction that they want. But I think for you, the way that I'm kind of like looking at this is, I think for some of you, maybe your career is going to be more important right now, or that may be the problem in terms of kind of like getting a relationship going. The Queen of Wands, I mean, definitely you're good, right? You feel attractive. You know how to handle what is going on here. You're attracting attention around you. But I think because you are feeling good about yourself, you know, in the relationship, that is kind of what's bringing hope to them. The problem is, though, is that you're needing to kind of like pull on your strength here, even though you're not doing or saying the things that they, you know, are wanting you to do. And I don't mean that in a negative way. It's just that it's like, wait a minute, no, that's not going to work. But you are trying to find the strength to kind of work through this with the Five of Wands, because that's you not seeing things the same way here. Butting heads, disagreements, petty arguments, things like that. But you're the one that's like trying to be like, okay, you know, I can deal with this. I can handle this. I need to just kind of like chill out for a minute while they kind of go through the motions. Then you move into the King of Pentacles. Now, for some of you, absolutely, it could be about, you know, the disagreement between how and who is going to make something happen here in order to get the relationship going, or getting stability within the relationship with the Four of Wands. Now, if we're looking at this in terms of you, whether you're male or female here, looking at the King of Pentacles, this is almost like you getting some reassurance that this person is actually willing to give what is necessary to make things happen. But this could also be about you giving that same reassurance, which for them, they're looking at judgment. That's basically saying, okay, you know, I'm going to just let it go. It's like, maybe I wasn't looking at things accurately. I need to kind of go back and like review things and let it go and lay it to rest, right? But it's either because of, you know, their actions that you're feeling secure, or it's your actions that's making them go, okay, maybe I was looking at things in the wrong way. Now, coming out though with the Hangman, for you, this is, you know, not really being able to do anything. I almost feel like your hands are tied in this situation. That, or, you know, there are some things that you need to kind of like work on in terms of your career, things like that, before you actually make the choice to get things going or built in this relationship. Like I said, with the Four of Wands, it's like building a life with this person, getting to a place of stability with the relationship. And it could literally be about, you know, moving in with each other. But you're not acting, you know, you're not really doing anything. But looking at the Five of Cups, there is a level of like, you know, emotional letdown or disappointment on both sides here. You know, but the thing is with the Knight of Cups coming out, especially on their side, I think that even though there's some disappointment that there's like a delay in getting things going here, they're still very much wanting to follow this through. You know, there's still that kind of, you know, this is still what I feel and still what I want to do. You know, that, or they're still kind of coming at you with, you know, this emotional offer here, or wanting to have this, you know, but you're still kind of like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. And that may be the problem. And then the King of Swords, and that I think is you kind of communicating this to them and them needing to kind of like deal with this or process this, you know, and understand what it is that you're trying to tell them. I don't necessarily feel like this is about them communicating. I think that this is the way that they're perceiving you. And again, whether you're male or female, But let me just start here. All of this to me looks like that's not really what I want. I don't know if I want to be committed to something, let's kind of get everything out in the open here. And there's some disappointment here. But I think for you, the disappointment is the way that this person acts. For them, it's the disappointment here that you don't want to be committed to somebody who kind of does whatever they feel like and whatever they want. And I say that because of the Knight showing up. So with the Hangman and the Hierophant, if we're talking about a relationship and commitment and major commitment here and having a traditional relationship, meaning moving in together, things like that, the Hangman is suggesting you don't want to do that. With the Knight of Cups and the Nine of Wands, for them, they're still very much wanting to have that experience with you. But I think that you realize that that's just what they're feeling in the moment. They're not really wanting to give up on this, though, looking at the Nine of Wands. But at the same time, they're also not kind of giving up on the way that they act, because with the Knights, I look at that as, not really thinking about the consequences of actions, just doing what you feel like in the moment. And with you, you're not happy with that with the Four of Cups. That's not what I want. I don't want to settle for that, and I don't want to just have, some hookup though either. And that may be the problem for some of you. You may be the one here that is on hold because you're not getting the commitment, because it's not being offered to you because of the way that this person is. It's one or the other here. But with the Sun, everything is being made clear. You see things clearly involving this situation here, but that is what is really holding up the show. And like I said, with the King of Swords, I think that, this is the communication that you're giving to this person, and this is how they're seeing you. Being, very logical about the situation. Look, it's not realistic right now, and I say that because of what's going on here. But this is also them, needing to be a little bit more mature, I think, and think a little bit more clearly about the actions that they're taking here. And the fight there is, if they're trying to heal things with you, you're really trying to find the strength here to kind of like hold back until there is, more security with this person and the ability to show that they can, do what's necessary here. That's kind of how I'm seeing the King of Pentacles. But I don't know. I don't know that right now is the right time for you to do anything in terms of like making things happen in a traditional way. Like if you're looking at possibly moving in with somebody, I don't think now is the time. And I don't think that they really think about the consequences of that action, because this is a big commitment, That, or if we're talking about marriage, it's the same thing. So let's get into this here. Oh my goodness. What the hell? Taurus. Somebody is going to be apologizing for ending things with you. The problem is that they are still kind of focused on the other person, and I think that it's because the other person may have left them and they are wanting to get back together with you, if that makes sense. And I'll explain here. So again, with the Five of Cups, we're talking about an apology, and it's going to be over a painful ending. They may have left you for another person, but here's the problem. They're still looking in on that relationship, that's you. The Hierophant. This is about spiritual support for a relationship. A lot of people see this as a narcissist, and I get it. But when you're looking at the Queen of Cups, this is going to be about commitment, because there is love. Somebody loves you, you love them. This is somebody who is feeling something here, and they're wanting to have it be, a real thing. They're wanting to have that commitment. But with the Eight of Cups, I almost see this as you going, no. You may feel like that right now, but I know that you're still focused on this other person. So, just kind of back off, quit pushing me, because I already know what's going on. I see it. Holy crap. And as far as finances and career, I think that for you, that may be where your focus is rather than dealing with this person. But that may have also been the issue. right? Like having to work out your financial situation after having a really difficult breakup that somebody's trying to apologize for, but they're not really over the other person that they left you for in the first place. And then the Queen of Wands. Wow, what the hell? My goodness. Okay, the King of Pentacles. And again, you're talking about somebody who's being very pushy. Very, very pushy. And they may be trying to push you to and accept an apology here. You know? Then again, we could be talking about you, or, you know, you're dealing with this person. Male, female, or it doesn't matter to me. It's personality. It's somebody being pushy. With the Four of Wands, one or the other here just sees this as fun. It's not about a major commitment. That's not something that you want to do. It's not something you want to get involved with again. It is what it is. And it's funny because I fucking hate that saying, but I've been saying it like for the last 2 weeks. Oh, it drives me nuts. But anyway, and then looking at the Queen of Wands, I think for you, it's almost like I'm okay with, you know, having a hookup here, but as far as like having a commitment, I don't think that that's what you want. That, or that's this person acting this way. You know, because they're either still focused on the person that left them, and that's the reason why they're trying to come back to you. That, or, you know, you are more focused on somebody else, which could be a possibility here, because the Queen of Wands I look at as somebody who, you know, doesn't want to be tied down. In some cases, she's not available to begin with here, but she gets a lot of attention and she attracts a lot of things in her life. But somebody is being really pushy in terms of a commitment here. It's just fun for one person, but somebody is still like peeking in on another relationship here. And then the Two of Wands. Okay, so I think that for a lot of you, the reason why we may be looking at let your friends help you is because these people may be telling you that the relationship that you're thinking about, or the one that you're trying to get involved with or get back together with, or somebody you're trying to get back together with, may not be the best thing for you. It's almost like you don't need it. Let us introduce you to somebody else, which can definitely be the case for some of you. For others of you, it's like you're needing some support on what to do here. Now, with the Fool, for a lot of you, you have walked away from a relationship where somebody could not make the choice between you and another person. That's how I see this as far as the past coming through. The King of Swords. This is really about you thinking about getting back together with somebody who is not very open or emotionally receptive. They're, you know, just, they just want what they want. It's not anything other than the physical, I think. And with the Nine of Swords, like I've always said with this one is like getting back together with somebody, but it's difficult. It's very difficult. There are a lot of issues from the past. Those issues, though, may have to do with another person. You know, and you could be like I said, dealing with somebody who didn't really take into consideration how you felt about the fact that they couldn't choose between you and another person, which is why you walked away in the first place. But for some reason, there is some consideration, at least with getting back together with this person. Now, when you move into the Queen of Pentacles, I feel like that's what you're internalizing here. You don't need this. You may be more focused on other areas of your life, you know, as far as like you being able to create what you want. You know, the Queen of Pentacles knows how to please herself. She doesn't need somebody else to do that, okay? So it may be that you don't need this person anymore. You don't need the stress involved with this. There's a reason why you walked away in the first place. You were done with that, you know? And with the Two of Wands, though, we're talking about flirting, getting to know somebody. And it may be that rather than getting back together with this person, you are getting to know them. Or, like I said, you know, your friends are coming through here and like, let us introduce you to somebody else because you don't need this. And then the Empress, yeah, for you, it's you need to kind of like enjoy things. You need to enjoy, you know, what is around you. I don't really see this as temptation or you tempting someone else here. I think that it's about you realizing that, you know, you are better than that. You are better than that. Yeah, I look at that as you, for sure, for sure, for sure, whether you're male or female for that matter. This is you realizing that you don't need to have that kind of a situation with a person who can't make a choice, because that's how I see them. And it's the same thing. It is the same thing over again, but yet they're still very much connected to you because there's at least some consideration of getting back together. But with the Empress, no. No. And you may be like, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and look at what is available to me. I don't necessarily need anything, but you're definitely in a place where you're hot shit. You could get whatever the hell you want. And I do think that for some of you, you may be meeting somebody else. And this relationship that some of you are considering staying with or getting back together is going to come to, an end, I think, here in the future. You're not showing an ending here, but I see you being more interested in keeping yourself open and available.